Hey everybody, welcome back to Bit by Knit with me, Jenny. We're here today on the west coast of Canada in British Columbia, and today I have a few knitting projects I'm going to share with you. I have like one updated finished object and 3 works in progresses, and I didn't actually get a lot of progress done on my works in progresses. In the last 2 weeks I thought I would have a lot more done to show you guys today, but I guess I got busy and I just didn't get as much done as I was hoping to, but that's the way it is sometimes. But I wanted to still come on today and show you what I've gotten so far. So the first thing I want to share is the last episode I showed my finished object, which is my Summer Secret Crop. Yes, my Summer Secret Crop by Jessie Mae Designs. And I don't know if you can remember, but in the last episode I didn't have these thick straps on my crop. I had them, they were much thinner, and this part here was also not so wide. It only came to here. And when I was wearing it, I was noticing that the side of my bra and my bra strap was showing, and I was a bit uncomfortable with how much side bra was showing with my crop top. So I decided to crochet a little border around it to just give me a bit more coverage. So that's what I've done here. It's another new finished object, I guess, because I did adjust it. But I crocheted, I did 4 single crochets outwards, and all the way around the outside of my crop top, so under the arm and all around the outer edge of the strap, to give it a little bit of an extra thickness, which I'm really happy I did. I don't know if you can tell, but in some of the spots here you can see my decreases. And I'll put it on. I'm going to put it on as well so you can see the difference. I mean, can't really see the difference because I can't show you the before and after necessarily. Maybe I will be able to find a picture of the before and then I can show you this on as well so you can see the difference. One sec. All right, so here she is all done, and I kept the neckline the same. I didn't adjust the neckline. I didn't adjust on the inside of the strap. I just did the adjustments on the outside of the strap, going all the way down and around and behind. And now you can see, like, it still shows a bit of my strap, I guess, in spots if I'm not careful with when I put it on and adjusting it, but all of the side now is covered. So I feel a lot more comfortable going out in public without that showing. So that is the adjustments that I made. Everything else is the same. I kind of wondered if I should add a little bit down on the bottom of the hem, but I decided not to bother because it does come low enough on my waist that it still covers. My shorts are high enough, so I just left it, and I didn't know if I had enough yarn left anyways to make much of a difference, because all I had left from doing the additions here was this much, just a little bit on each ball. So I didn't think that was really enough to add another border at the bottom. I could have done another border around the arm, but I thought that I had enough already, so I just have a tiny bit left for, who knows, maybe making another yarn cozy, like seems to be the way that I go with my leftovers at the moment, or maybe because I wanted to make that emotional support chicken, so maybe it'll go into that. So yeah, that's the difference that I made there, and I'll give you the specs again since it's technically a new finished object here. So this is, again, it's my Summer Secret Crop by Jessie Mae Designs. I used a 5mm needle to knit it and a 5mm crochet hook for the additional crocheted areas that I made. It's a DK weight yarn that I used. It was from a Knit Crate box that I got back in 2020 or 2019, somewhere around there. But I did look up the yarn name, and it is Vitalana Linen Jewel Yarn, which is a 50% superwash merino, 30% linen, and 20% silk blend. And I did do the waist shaping on the pattern because there's an option to do waist shaping or not. I did do the waist shaping, and I did the DK version of the pattern because you can do either the fingering weight or the DK weight. I did the DK weight because I just held the two together. I would keep it on, but I want to do a couple of other show and put on of the other couple of things that I'm knitting, and I didn't think it would look so good over another knitted object. So anyways, back to the thinner material for the rest of my works in progresses, which is what we're moving on to. Okay, So the first work in progress I'm going to talk about is my Salmon Set 24 by Elspeth Judith, because it's the one that I've gotten the most work done on. I was so close to getting the bottom hem done before this episode. I was really hoping to have it finished so that I could try it on for you guys, but it just was not in the cards. I still have another, I want to say, half a centimeter to go. Maybe a centimeter to go. Not very much, but still, it's on such small needles that it's going to be several rounds before I get to the length that I need it, and then I have to bind it off, so I didn't have time before this episode, unfortunately. But that's okay. I'll be able to try it on next episode. Actually, I'm really hoping that by next episode I will have it finished, because I was kind of hoping it would be done by this one, but did not happen. That's okay. But here she is. I've gotten, like I said, pretty much the whole body is done, except for that last little bit of the border. And I actually didn't even go as long as the pattern suggested. I think it said to do 24 inches below the arm, and I did 22 or something. I did a little bit less because I figured, like, just holding it up, it felt like it was quite long already before the border even. It was already hitting like quite a bit below my hip, which is, I think, it's supposed to be the way in the pattern, but I'm a pretty short person, so I didn't want it to be overly long. But I'll bring it up close. You can see the detail. I've got the little pattern of pearl stitches, in amongst the purling. Nope, in amongst the knitting. And I just have to finish the last couple of centimeters, and then I'm on to the sleeves. And they're just going to be short sleeves. Like, the pattern is really nice. The pattern has options for like short sleeve, mid sleeve, and long sleeve. And this is a short sleeved shirt that I'm doing. So once I get done on the ribbing, I'm hoping it won't take me very long to get the sleeves done. So hopefully by next episode, this will be done. I'm using the Cotlin yarn from Knit Picks. It is a DK weight yarn, and I looked up how to pronounce this. I'm going to see if I can do it. It's Tanguis cotton, 70% Tanguis cotton and 30% linen blend. And it's, like I said, it's a DK weight, but it almost, I don't know, it almost seems thinner than that. And this is the color Shoal. And I'm using ChiaoGoo circular needles to knit this up. And I think I did 3.25 millimeter needles for the body, and now I'm on 2.75 millimeter needles for the rib hem. So that's why it's taking so long. 2.75 millimeter needles forever. Oh yes, and that's in the size small as well. I should mention that, size small. All right, and then I've got my step-by-step cardigan. That's my second work in progress here by Florence, handmade by Florence. I think it's Florence Miller, that's her last name, but it's handmade by Florence, step-by-step cardigan. And I didn't do too much more since the last time I showed this. I just did maybe a couple of inches, I'd say, but I did work on it, so I thought I would show it. And this one I was actually going to pop on as well, so you can kind of see what it looks like at the moment. Dropping yarn balls all over the floor, that's okay. All right. So this is how far I've gotten so far, just a little bit under the arm, lots more to go. But yeah, this is what she's looking like so far. I'm using the 6 millimeter needles by my ChiaoGoo needles, 6 millimeter needles. And I'll be switching to 5 millimeter for the ribbing once I get down there. Plus, I'm going to switch to 4.5 for the double knitting band that's going to be going around it for the button band. And it's a size C that I'm using because I ended up not quite matching gauge. I was one stitch too big, small, whatever it is, one stitch off. And so I sized up on the pattern to accommodate that. So it's a size C that I'm doing. And then when I got to I was doing all of the shaping here and the increases, and I just wasn't confident. It was looking kind of big, so I decided to skip one of the last repeat sections, which eliminated 16 stitches. And so I just I just didn't want it to be overly big. I was getting a little worried that it was. So I eliminated those 16 stitches, and I think I could have been fine keeping them, but I think it's still fine even without them. I could have been fine either way, is what I'm trying to say. I'm using Bramble Ridge hand-dyed yarn. It's her woolen spun DK weight yarn, and this is the color Dusk. And I'll just show the sweater a little bit closer here. Yeah, it's actually it's such a nice yarn. It's really light. It feels very light. So even though this is going to be like a big cardigan, it's not going to feel heavy on me. It even feels like just like touching it and it draping on me. So I'm really glad about that. I didn't want to have, I mean, it's nice having a very nice bulky, heavy weighted cardigan as well, but this one's just going to be a nice lightweight one. Maybe nice for like the spring or the fall when you don't really want something super warm. Mind you, it's 100% wool, so it probably still will be nice and warm. So the last work in progress that I wanted to show is actually one that I was hoping would be done before this video as well, because it's just a tank top. But I ended up having to frog it and restart it. But this is my mini mock neck tank, and it's by Jessie Mae Designs. And I'll show you what I started with first, because I didn't actually frog it. I just cut the yarn and started over again. Because I was making this in just the yarn that I got from my Twice Sheer Cheap spring box. And so it was it says it's a fingering weight yarn, and the pattern is for a fingering weight yarn, but I swear this is more of a super fine fingering weight because it's very thin. And I didn't do a gauge swatch, and I was making the size small, which is what usually fits me. I just decided to go with what fits instead of doing a gauge swatch because I only had one skein of it and I didn't want to waste some of it for a swatch, even though I know I can still use that yarn in the end. I just didn't. Anyways, I got pretty far and it wasn't taking me too long, but it was definitely too small. When I put it on, like it stretches okay, but like there's no way I'm gonna get my arms through these armholes. So yeah, that was not working out. So I decided to just give up on this. I'm not gonna make it and not fit. I got pretty far before I realized, or like, I mean, I was kind of knowing it earlier than this point, but I was just being stubborn. But I finally was like, okay, this is pointless. Why am I making this if I know it's not going to fit? So I just cut the yarn, and I was looking through the options that I had for yarn, and I've hand dyed a couple of skeins years ago, and I've never used it. So I decided to combine one of my skeins from my hand dyed yarn, and it's actually a 80% BFL superwash merino plus 20% silk blend. It's also, I'm pretty sure the definition is super fine, but it's not. It's more just a nice fingering weight yarn. And so I'm holding it double with the one that's super fine, in my opinion. And it's making a bit more, I'd say it's almost like a sport weight right now, knitting up. But these are the two held together. So the one with the purple is the Sheepshire Pixie sock yarn, which is in the colorway Crocus, which is the one that I got in my Twice Sheer Sheep box. And this more kind of minty green one is the one that I hand dyed. And this is what it's combining, looking like. Let's see if I can do this without dropping everything. It's looking like that. I think it's a pretty nice combination. Like, I'll show you the two comparatively. So yes, definitely a lot more green and not really any white spaces like the other one has. But I like it. I think it looks pretty nice together. I think it's a good match because the other one does have a green in it. It's kind of playing off of that, I think. I wanted to try this on though, just so you can see how it's looking so far, because I do have, oh, I'm really doing a bad job of details, but it's worked top down, and you're knitting the back portion first, and then you like have to do one strap and then the other strap, and then you eventually connect it at the front, and now I'm working down the front of it. So the back part is kind of done until you join in the round. And I just have to do a few more rounds off the front, and then, yeah, I'll be ready to join in the round. But again, it fits fine over my head. It's pretty stretchy. I do have to go back and do the collar though, so hopefully it won't decrease the stretch too much there. But it's fitting okay over my head at the moment. And it is, if I feel like it's covering enough of my straps and like the shoulder part here, so I think I'm doing okay. But I forgot to mention also, I'm doing the size extra small because I combined the 2 yarns and it's now a thicker blend. I didn't want to do a small and maybe make it a bit too big, so I'm doing the extra small, which might also come back and bite me in the butt, and I might have to redo it, but we'll see. But that's it so far. Not much to look at, especially since like the majority of it's on the back of the shirt, not on the front yet. But I did want to mention also, so when you're knitting this one, you put the you put the shoulder straps on hold, and then you come back and not on hold. You just it's bound off or whatever. And then you come back and you pick it up. And in the pattern, when you pick it up, she keeps you doing the edging pattern. So you have like a little section here of like knits and purls just to make sure it doesn't curl. And on the when you're picking this back up, you're just supposed to keep doing the knits and purls. I could not for the life of me make it line up and look nice. It just was looking sloppy and off center, and I just don't know if I wasn't picking up properly in the right spots. I must have redone it like 5 or 6 times. I'm just like, that's it. It's not looking right. So I decided to do about 6 or 7 rows without doing the knit purl edging. It's just straight knitting. And then I went back to adding in that knit purl edge there. And I think that looks okay. Like when you're wearing it, you're not going to notice it. And even if you do, it kind of looks like maybe a design feature because I did it on both sides. So it matches. And then I didn't have to feel frustrated with it not looking right with the pickup edge. And what else? I'm using 3.75 millimeter needles to meet gauge, and I did measure after it. And okay, so that's my little fear too. I measured afterwards, and it does look like I'm getting gauge actually quite nicely now, but because I chose the extra small size, and I'm not usually one to wear extra small garments, I'm a little worried it might be a bit small on me, but I'm hoping it will stretch when I block it, at least just a little bit. Yeah, so that's all I've got on that so far. I'm hoping to get it all. I mean, there's a lot of hope here. I'm hoping it'll be done by the time I do my next podcast. So here's the plan. I've got 2 items that I'm really hoping will be done by next time. I don't think my cardigan will be, but if I can get this done and my t-shirt done by the next time I podcast, then I will have a couple more things on the needles, because I'm not going to be able to podcast for about a month. Between this episode and my next episode will be about a month break because I'm going to be going away. We've got some trips planned and vacation and stuff, so I'm not going to have time. Plus, I probably won't get a lot of knitting done while I'm gone, so I won't even have much to show anyways. So my next episode will be about a month from now, end of August sort of deal. And hopefully by then I'll also have come back from my vacations and be able to finish my projects to show off. I'm also hoping that by then I will have done something with my plans for frogging this, which I talked about in my last episode, and also with getting something started with these 2 yarns that I talked about in my last episode. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with them. I'm so excited to work with them. I love them so much. I just don't want to make something out of them I'm not going to be happy with. Yeah. All right, I know it's a shorter episode. I don't have very much to show, but I just wanted to get on and do a quick recording before I go away for a month. And yes, So thanks for joining me, you guys, and I will see you in about a month in my next episode.